Hey everybody, just wanted to do an update for my January reading, what I accomplished. And January was a big month for me. I finished 10 books, and that is a lot, more than I thought I would. It's not normal, but I had some audiobooks, I had some shorter books, and I had a couple longer books. But I finished these books in January. So I want to give a rundown on them. The first one is The Burnout Society. And this is a short little treatise on how striving for success and achievement is actually not leading to the good life, but is actually leading to greater exhaustion and less enjoyment in the things that we're working for. So it was a good book. It's one of those books that I think I will come back to. Much like In the Name of Jesus by Henry Nouwen, Burnout Society by Bung-Chul Han, I think I'm saying that right, it's a quick read. It was very insightful. I took a lot of good notes from that book, and so that was the first one I read. I actually started it on January 1st, and I finished it on January 1st. So check it out. The next book is The Ballot and the Bible by Kaitlyn Schiess, and I really appreciate Schiess's work. I think she has a very helpful perspective on looking at the history of American politics and how right and left, both sides, have used the Bible to try to make their point and to make their argument. And so what Schiess is, I think, trying to do in this text, and I think she accomplishes, is trying to help us just see how it's happening, but then also help us to be more intentional in looking for the ways that different politicians might be using or abusing the text. There are times where different political leaders might even change the words of the Bible to make the point that they want to make. So that's something just to be mindful of, and especially in a year like 2024, presidential election, general election, a lot of tension. This is a resource that I think would be very helpful for, Christians to read, but pastors and leaders who want to be intentional with their congregation and political conversations. Great resource, The Ballot and the Bible. Next up is Midnight Horizon by Daniel José Older, and this is a young adult novel in the Star Wars High Republic era. And so this is before the Skywalker, hundreds of years before the Skywalker era. And I'll just be honest, this book, it was not easy. It took me a long time to get into this book. There were a lot of characters I didn't care about. There were a lot of things I didn't care about. Whole plot lines. I was like, why is that even necessary? But the ending was exciting, and so I kept on plowing through. The way I finished was I actually checked out the ebook from the library and had my Kindle app read it to me. So not the best in this Star Wars High Republic era, but I finished it. So it goes in the pile of finished books. The next book on my list was The Power of Writing It Down by Allison Fallon. And Allison Fallon is a writing coach as well as an author in her own right, and she has experience as a ghostwriter. And so I first encountered her through a writing coach program that I signed up for called A Book in 6 Months. And so she talked about her books, and I was like, oh, I'll go see what her books are like. And so this one, it does a really good job of highlighting the ways that writing actually shapes our brain and helps us process our past experiences and get a handle on our life. And so, I thought it was a great book. I checked it out from the library using Libby. So I listened to it while I was walking my dog, and it was really helpful. Also, this video is not sponsored by Libby, but if you like to read and you are not using Libby, you are missing out. Go down to your public library, get yourself a library card, sign up for Libby, free ebooks, free audiobooks. It's awesome. Check out Libby. The next one is The Way of Kings, and I actually finished this book and I posted about it, and a friend said, can I borrow that? And so I don't have my physical copy of that book. And so this is a big, huge chunker of a book. And this is from Brandon Sanderson. And it's book 1 in the Stormlight archive. And this is a reread for me. So I have read this now probably 5 times. And so when I reread these, I have the Kindle version, I have a print version, and I have the audiobook. And so I kind of work through all of them depending on where I'm at in the context. And so if I am, in my car, I'll listen to the audiobook. If I'm sitting in my living room with my family, I'll read the ebook or the print book. If I am waiting in line somewhere and I have some time, I might pull up the ebook on my phone just to keep moving through these books. And so volume 5 in the Stormlight archive is coming out in December, and I'm super excited. So I'm doing a reread, going through all of them. So so that's how I finished The Way of Kings. Highly recommend. If you are thinking about getting into the Sanderson universe, the Cosmere, I would recommend not starting with The Way of Kings, but instead I would recommend starting with Mistborn. So if you have questions, comments, leave that in the thing below. That'd be great. After The Way of Kings, I listened to Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And this is really just a good reminder. Just look at all the things that are distracting you from enjoying your life. It could be YouTube and where I'm posting this video. I don't know. And look at how we're using our time to scroll and distract ourselves from the things that are happening in our life, the things that matter most to us. And so this is just a good reminder to evaluate what you've got going on in your life. What are the distractions that are keeping you from really engaging in your life? And so, Newport is much more down this road than I think I can ever be. He's never used social media. I'm well beyond that. But I did delete Facebook from my phone, which has proven to be super helpful. Just that one thing. And so I can only look at it on my computer. And so Facebook for me is a work tool. And so I'm only going to be using it at my computer when I'm working. It's a good rule. And so I picked that up from Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Again, that's an audiobook I checked out from the library. Next up, and this is one of the most beautiful books, like the physical artifact of this book, is called The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. And I started this the week before Christmas. And I actually started listening to the audiobook that I checked out from the library. That loan expired because I just got busy. But I had this as part of the Kickstarter that I participated in. And so this was something that I wanted to read. And so as soon as I was listening to the audiobook, I was like, man, this story is so good. It picks up with a character that we know from the Stormlight archive. And it's like a little picture into the future of what that character will experience. And so, yeah, I loved this book, 5-star. And the Kickstarter is just like, it's a physical artifact. It's beautiful. It's got these excellent illustrations inside, and also these full color pages that are just really excellent. So thoroughly enjoyed reading The Sunlit Man. Next up is Gardens of the Moon, and this I had on ebook and audiobook. And this is the first in the Malazan series, and this is a big, huge, epic fantasy series. There's 10 books in the main story, and then there's other spin-offs. It's a lot. And I heard about this from the podcast Book Reviews Kill, and I have been enjoying their podcast, and I was like, I'll jump in with them. I found all of the ebooks through Humble Bundle for a super sale, and so I was like, oh, great, let's do that. This first book is dark, it is grim, and Steve Erikson really doesn't have any interest in helping you understand what's going on. So got that going for you. But I did finish it. And now we're in book 2, Dead House Gates. And I'm still kind of like, I don't really know what's happening. So, but yeah, Gardens of the Moon. It's not for everybody, but I read it. One by One by Gina Dalfonzo. And this was a staff read at our church. And it's a book that is trying to help pastors and church leaders engage with how best to serve people who aren't married, because so many church or programs are coordinated around family schedules and for married people. And so we're ignoring a lot of people. And so I think Dalfonzo writes a good introduction in a lot of ways, but this, as we discussed this with our staff, this actually left a lot of questions unanswered for us, and it was not the end of the conversation. And so there's more that we would like to do and more that we would like to learn from, but One by One by Gina Dalfonzo. And not for everybody, but it was okay. Then the last book I got just under the wire. I finished it on the 31st of January, and it is a beautiful book as well, How to Inhabit Time by James K.A. Smith. And when I say this is a beautiful book, I mean like the cover, look at that. That's the nice dust jacket. But then inside, look at this beautiful cover. Like it's just nice. And it's a short little book about a Christian philosophy of time. And I have been following Jamie Smith for 20 plus years now. I first read his book, The Fall of Interpretation, in Bible college. And so I've been kind of following his work. I had an opportunity to take a class with him when I was in my MA. Just a brilliant thinker, an excellent writer. Like, he is a philosopher and he's super smart, but he's a writer that you can engage with. And he brings the top level conversations down to where I am. And so, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is looking at a Christian philosophy of time and how we, might be drawn towards things like the past and nostalgia, but then also feeling like shame for our past. And so trying to understand when we are and where we are going. And so he gives this picture of understanding for a Christian that time is hopeful, that there is an eschatological future picture of the world, of the time that the Lord is building toward, and it is something that we can embrace, and knowing where we're going actually can help us live more fully in the present. And I say all that stuff, and I know it sounds like your best life now type of stuff, like super self-helpy. It is not. It is really great, and this is one that I will keep close, and I will be rereading this book. It was excellent. So those are my January reading, the things that I finished. And so next month I don't anticipate finishing 10 books, but who knows? It's a shorter month. We'll see. So thank you for taking the time. If you watched all this, leave a comment down below. What are you reading? What are the things that you've enjoyed? If you have any questions about any of the books that I listed here, then please let me know what you think and what you, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, all the things that people say to do with videos. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.